Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're tackling one of the most common, yet secretly devastating financial decisions out there. We're exposing the hidden math behind the car payment trap. If you've got a car payment right now, or maybe you're gearing up to get a new car soon, well, you might want to buckle up, because the dramatic reality of what's actually happening to your wallet is probably going to shock you.
Let me ask you something. Are you quietly losing thousands of dollars every single year? It's a heavy question, right? Look, we all want a reliable vehicle to get us from point A to point B. But without even realizing it, millions of people are making a choice at the dealership desk that systematically drains their wealth behind the scenes.
Okay, let's dive into this. The absolute craziest part about this whole situation is that most people actually think leasing a car is the smart, financially savvy choice. They think it's some sort of life hack. You get a brand new shiny car, the latest technology, full warranty coverage, and the monthly payment is way lower than if you were to just buy it outright. Sounds like a total win-win, right? Well, today we are breaking down the real math behind leasing versus buying a car. And let me tell you, the numbers are absolutely staggering.
Part 1. Meet Jake, a tale of two paths. To truly wrap our heads around this trap, we're going to track the financial destiny of a guy named Jake down two completely different timelines. Here is Jake's baseline. He just landed a sweet new job, he makes a solid $70,000 a year, and he needs a reliable car. He wants to be financially responsible, so he walks into his local dealership to weigh his options.
The dealer presents him with a classic dilemma: two clear options for the exact same car. Option A, lease the car for $399 a month. Option B, buy the car, but the payment jumps to $610 a month. Naturally, human psychology kicks right in. That lower lease leaves an extra $200 in his pocket every single month. It seems like a total no-brainer. So, Jake signs the lease.
But guys, this right here is exactly where the massive financial mistake begins. We have to uncover the illusion of affordability here. Leasing feels so affordable, and the monthly payment is lower for one very specific reason. You are not paying for the full price of the car. You're only paying for the depreciation. You are essentially just funding the vehicle's loss and value while you're driving it. And the crucial point here is understanding just how brutal new car depreciation actually is. The average new car loses 20 to 30% of its entire value in just year one alone. By year 5, it's lost about 60%. Cars are literal sinking financial ships. When you lease, you are explicitly agreeing to fund the steepest, absolute most expensive part of that depreciation curve.
Which brings us to path 1, the leasing trap.
Let's do a rapid-fire dive into the math. Remember that seemingly cheap $399 monthly payment? When you multiply that out, Jake is actually spending $4,788 a year, almost $5,000 annually just for the privilege of borrowing a car.
Now let's fast forward to the end of his lease term. After 3 years of never missing a single payment, Jake drives the car back onto the dealership lot to return it. If we total up what he spent over those 36 months, $14,364. Over $14,000 just out the door. And here is the dramatic punchline of the leasing path. After handing over more than $14,000, how many cars does Jake actually own? 0. Absolutely nothing. He hands over the keys, he walks away, and he has 0 equity to show for his money. So what does he do? He still needs a car to get to work, right? So he leases another car, and the exact same trap starts all over again.
Now let's look at path 2, the buying scenario. Let's rewind the clock right back to that dealership desk. In this alternate timeline, Jake bites the bullet and takes on the loan. He commits to paying $610 a month for a full 5 years. And yeah, the upfront burden is definitely heavier. He's going to feel that cash flow pinch a bit more every single month for 60 months. After those 5 years are up, let's look at the total cash spent. Jake has paid a grand total of $36,600. Now, I know exactly what you're thinking. That is a massive number. It's way more than the $14,000 he spent on his first lease. But wait, because this is exactly where the magic happens. This is the critical turning point in Jake's financial life. After 5 years, the payments stop. That $610 a month completely vanishes from his budget. But the physical asset remains. Jake still owns the car. It's sitting right there in his driveway, it runs great, and nobody can tell him to bring it back.
All right, part 4, the 10-year climax.
Look, just looking at 3 or 5 years really isn't enough. We need to zoom out over a full decade to see the real long-term damage. In the leasing timeline, Jake has cycled through 3 different cars on a never-ending treadmill of payments. His 10-year total spent? approximately $48,000. But in the buying timeline, Jake drove that one car for the whole 10 years, capping his total spent at $36,600. For the entire second half of the decade, he didn't pay a single dime in car payments.
And this brilliantly illustrates how devastating the difference is. Over a decade of leasing 3 cars, Jake spent $48,000 and owns literally nothing. But by buying just one car, he spent far less, $36,600, and even after 10 years of depreciation, he possesses an actual asset with a retained value of about $8,000. He actually has equity. When you factor in the money he didn't spend on endless payments, plus that $8,000 of equity he now holds in the vehicle, the math reveals a completely shocking truth. Buying the car saves Jake approximately $20,000 over a decade. 20 grand! Guys, that is a house down payment. That is a massive boost to a retirement portfolio. That is literal life-changing money, all determined by one single choice at the dealership desk.
And that brings us to a harsh industry reality. Why do dealerships push leasing so hard? Why are there always flashy commercials for low monthly lease deals? Well, here is the dealership's secret. They absolutely love leases. Leases create an endless cycle of repeat customers. They're essentially creating a subscription model for driving. They know for a fact that every 3 years, you have to come back, hand over the keys, and restart your payments all over again. It is incredibly profitable for them and incredibly draining for you.
Now, buying isn't perfect for every single scenario, sure, but for the vast majority of people, it is the path to true financial stability. Always remember this. Real wealth is built by owning things that stop costing money. So, the next time you step onto a dealership lot and they slide that shiny lease offer across the desk, you really have to ask yourself, are you buying a vehicle or are you just buying a subscription to stay broke? If you want to keep decoding real money decisions and mastering the hidden math of everyday life, make sure to subscribe to The Explainer. See you next time.